Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Layla if you are new here. In this video, I want to give you a flip through of my bullet journal for 2021. I have not filled it out for the whole year. So far, I have just completed it basically for January, and then I've created my February spread. So it's just going to be month by month. And if you watched my last bullet journal video, I will link it down below. I actually just started getting into bullet journaling in September of 2020. And so I tried it out for the final 3 months of the year, and I decided I wanted to continue with it so that I could combine my planner with my yearly notebook. So this is my journal and planner. My bullet journal spread is quite similar to what I did in that video, but I did change things up a little bit. I do have a different journal, and I will give you all the details of the things that I use for my bullet journal. And I still feel like this really helps with my productivity. I still keep it very minimal and very simple. I don't want to overwhelm myself, but I do decorate a little bit here and there. So let me tell you first of all what I have, and then we'll go to the actual flip through. So this is the notebook that I use. I don't know the brand, it's from Amazon. I will link it down below. And as you can see, it is quite large, or maybe you can't tell, but this is probably double or triple the size of the one that I used last quarter. And this is because I purchased a bigger one so that I could use it for the whole year. I didn't want a small one and have to get a different one. I just wanted something that would last for the full 12 months of 2021. I actually really like this one. It's probably even better than the one I had before. And it's just a faux leather cover, and obviously I have it in black. I didn't put anything on it, not yet anyway. It has two little tassels. It has the closure here that just pops off, and I really like that a lot to keep it closed. And it does have a pen holder. This journal also came with little stencils. So it did come with a couple of stencils for you to use, which I think is very cool. I did not know it was coming with this. This is upside down. So I don't use them very often, but it is nice to have. I also use a ruler. I said this in my last video. I have no clue where I got this from. It's very old. It's just 6-inch ruler though. And then these are the pens I use. I actually got these for free from this company, but I will link them down below. They're super affordable, and I think they're the best ones for bullet journaling. They are felt tip, and it's in a bunch of different colors, but I mostly use the black. Down below, I will also link the YouTubers who share their bullet journals, and those are the ones who really inspired me to design mine how I did. Like I said, this journal is quite similar to my last one, and once you start bullet journaling, it just becomes easier because you've already created it, and so you don't have to spend as much time doing it. I probably spend, about an hour putting together a whole month, and you'll see why that is. You'll see the breakdown of everything that I put in there, but typically it's less than that. And now I've been doing it in month increments so that I have each week prepped out and ready to go for me to use for the following week, which I think is helpful. But let's go ahead and just get into it. Here is the front of my bullet journal, just black and plain. Here is the back. Like I said, it has a little pen holder. It also has this closure, and then there's a gray tab and a black tab, or little ribbons. So when you first open it, it comes to this page. I have not put anything here, but there's a little spot for you to put your name. I do skip this page because I don't like how it opens weird. And then it officially starts here. So I put this little 2021 together, nothing fancy. I try to keep everything simple, and this was just, you know, a little craft for me to do. And on this page, I also have my online income that I'll be recording every single month. So however much money I made in that month, that's just something I wanted to keep track of so that I had somewhere to refer back to it outside of the computer ones that I have. So that's all I have here. And these little designs are actually from the stencil that came with this notebook. So that top one is where I got that from. Next are my goals. These are my goals that I set for 2021. And I just listed them all on this first page. And then I just kind of connected some arrows and broke them down. Basically a little action plan for each. Then a couple of my favorite pages. These are my debt-free trackers. I actually need to color some of this in, but I'm just saving it for my finance channel. If you don't know, I have a finance channel where I'm documenting my debt-free journey, so that's always linked in my description box. But basically all this is my total debt. So I started at a little over 40,000 in the year. So each time I get under that balance of total debt, I color in one of these circles. And I did kind of mess up. You can see that these are a lot closer together than these. I did not measure it properly, so I just made it work. And that's what I love about bullet journaling is, you know, you might mess up and stuff, but it kind of just gives it character. Over here, this is my debt avalanche, so I broke these down from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. Each square represents $100. This is my car loan. Actually, the rest are my student loans, which are currently at 0% interest here in the US. But I'm focusing on paying off my car loan first and then going down my student loans. Next, we have very simple pages just for ideas, and I have a couple of channels, as you know. So Living Like Layla blog post ideas, Living Like Layla YouTube ideas, literally just wrote that at the top and put a line. Then I have my money blog ideas, my money blog YouTube ideas. This may not be enough room between these. This may not be enough room for the whole year, so I'll probably just have to create that later in the year. Then I put a wish list of things I would like to purchase. So far it's just clothes and shoes that I have on here, but if there's anything for home or, I don't know, this is just for the year. So I'm really not sure. Anything that pops up in my mind that I am wanting to purchase, then I'll put it here. Then on this page, I have specifically for quarter 1, so January, February, March, goals, habits, and to-do lists. So I just wrote down my goals, the things I wanted to work on, some important things when it comes to both of my businesses, and then a simple little to-do list just for miscellaneous things like updating my passport, filing my taxes, going to the dentist, going to the doctor, other things like that. So very simple. My favorite page of every single month is this calendar spread and my habit tracker. This is where I changed things. So this is the same, basically, this little calendar. I keep it very small because I don't write much in here except for my bills. So the red ones are my bills for that day, and I fill that in before the month starts. And then these were just extra debt payments, the green ones. And typically I would decorate this. I'll show you February. I did get a little bit more creative with that. But then here I put a to-do list of just a few things that I needed to really focus on. I'll show you February though. I changed that up a bit. I did keep the habits the same. And so I wrote across the top 10 habits, and going down the side are the days of the month and the number of that day. So 1 through 31 of January. And same thing on this side. I put the numbers across the left, and this used to be the section for my sleep and mood tracker, but I found that I wasn't really benefiting from that. Me tracking my sleep, me tracking my mood, I didn't learn anything. I didn't feel it was useful. I would forget often. You can see here that even with my habit tracker, I'm not very consistent with it, which isn't a big deal to me. It's just something I like to have and keep track of most of the time. So instead I changed this to content, which obviously wouldn't apply to everybody, but I have it for my, separate things, the YouTube channels, my blogs, my emails that I send out, and then I wrote down what I am planning to upload or publish for each of those days. And I love this. This is very helpful. It gives me a glance at the month of what I need to film and what I'm expecting, so I really find that helpful. So the next few pages I kept basically the same, but I'm gonna kind of just quickly flip through them so that, I write personal things sometimes, not too personal, but I just don't want, to people to read it. So I'm gonna flip to February, but you can see how I fill this out quite a lot, but you can even see that there are some days that I really miss things. So we'll talk, this is this week, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. Here I have my budget for January. Again, this is kind of changing, so I'll show you this for February because it looks a lot better. But this is what I have always done in my notebook from last year. So I write my income, my expenses, my budget, what I actually spend, and then some difference at like my starting debt, my ending debt for the month, my net worth, my Roth IRA, my credit score, how much debt I paid, the interest I paid, the percent I paid in the month, and the percent I've paid of my debt since the beginning. So if you're interested in any of that, then check out my finance channel. I go over it every single month. And then my sinking funds, but I'll show you this for February. It looks a lot better. Here we have my training for January. I know this looks so overwhelming, but it's not. I literally fill this in every single day. So I have been following a workout program, and I wanted to write it in here so that I always had it with me, and then I can take this down to the gym and I fill in, let me put it the right way up. So I wrote for each day, I am working out 5 days a week at least, and I wrote down the workout, and then I fill in the weight that I did, the number of reps I did, and the sets that I performed. So I put the date at the top, and then my goal basically has been to increase the weight and sets that I've been using each month. And I absolutely love this. I really like tracking because then you can actually progress in gaining strength. So that's one of my goals right now, is to work on gaining my strength. And then I am going to be changing up my training program very soon. Now here, this is probably something that I'm not going to do. I didn't plan this out for February. I'll show you in just a bit. But this is my January meal plan, and I was counting my macros and my calories and all that, and I just I didn't keep up with it for the last week or this week. I'm just finding I don't really like it. And it's not that I'm not counting my macros, it's just I don't really care to write it down in here. I don't find it beneficial. This isn't something I'm going to come back to, I don't think. I mean, maybe I will, but this is probably not going to be going forward. Then I have a section for book notes because I really like to take notes while I'm reading a book. So I already finished the book, The Secret, so I just took a couple notes there. And then, as you can see, I write when I first started the book and then when I finished it. And then right now I'm reading Badass Habits. Haven't finished it yet, working through that one. So I still have a little bit more room for that. Then we get into February. So this is a little bit more of where I'm expecting to take it for 2021. So I added a little bit more decor for February. It is, you know, Valentine's Day in the month. So I put just a bunch of hearts, kept it very simple. I would say from here going forward took me probably about 45 minutes to an hour. I actually just did this all while I was in a work meeting because it was one where I just had to listen. I didn't have to say anything or, you know, do anything crazy. So I just did both at the same time. And same thing here, I just put February at the top, my little calendar for the month, and then I'll fill in my bills. Here I instead made this goals to do and content ideas. So I'll probably put content ideas down on this side. And that's kind of similar to what's over here, but more so just jotting down more ideas for what I want to specifically get up in February. These here are my goals: pay off my car, make over 1,000 online. That's pretty normal for me. I will have my habits. Again, each month I typically find things that I don't want to practice anymore or that I want to add in. So I'll still probably put 10 across the top and then fill those in each day. And then I have the same thing with my content. All of it is color coordinated. This time I put my budget at the front because this was actually something I forgot the budget in January. So I forgot to put it at the beginning of the month. And so I did that for February. I like this layout a lot better. So what I have here is the same thing basically, but a shorter version of my income because I also film a whole video on my online and extra income. So I'm dedicating a whole page to that. So this is just a little overview of my income for the month, which I'll fill in once it's complete. Then my budget and expenses are here, what I actually spent, and the exact same thing as before. And then my sinking funds. I like how this looks a lot more. It is very tiny, obviously, because it's a small page, but I like this better than what I did for January. So again, that's what I really like about bullet journaling. You can just keep adjusting. So here's how I organize my planning and my weeks. So I just have, this is the same from what I did last year, and I just have every day of the week on one page. I find that spreading it over 2 days is not necessary. I think this is plenty of room. So what I typically have done is always 3 squares and writing down my top 3 priorities for that day. And that really helps me to get my things done that are most important, that are gonna move the needle for me. And then I'll put a couple of other things on the side. That's just like reminders for me to do, or I just know I'm gonna do it. Like going to the gym, I'm gonna go to the gym. Calling my mom, having calls with my clients, things like that. So I will add more than the 3 if necessary, but typically I just focus on 3 things each day. So that's still what I'm doing. Obviously Saturday and Sunday are a little smaller because my workload is typically lighter. And then on this page, right next to it is good morning. So this is where I write just how I'm feeling. I write the date, I write how I'm feeling in the morning. It's usually just a sentence or 2. And then I write down a few things that I'm grateful for. So it may be 3 things, it may be 10 things, whatever I'm feeling for that morning. I really like to do that because I love practicing gratitude. It has really improved my life. So I also wanted to add in a similar idea for my evening routine. So at night, I take this with me. You know, this is by me in the morning, this is by me at night. And literally this notebook goes with me everywhere. So I also do the same thing at night. I write the date. I write down any good deeds that I have done for the day. And, you know, I'm really working on doing more good deeds, just being, just doing more if I can. And so it's not every day, but I'll write down the good deed if I had any, and then I'll write down the positives of the day. So not necessarily a gratitude list, but like if I paid down some debt, I'll write that down. If something good happened, I'll write it down. If I had a good workout, but it could be a gratitude list as well. And then I have my weekly review. So I do this every single week, and actually I've been doing this with my sister for the year. And I do this on my own, and then we kind of just discuss some like business things. But what I like to do for this, I can go to that. So this is a weekly meeting from early January. So I always write my goals first, and I'll do 3-year goals, 1-year goals, and then quarter 1 goals. Depending on the quarter, that's what I write. And I write these down every single week. So I try not to go back and refer to what I wrote down before. It's just from the top of my head so that I am very clear on what I want. I like to remind myself of my goals often. I write down all of my accomplishments for the week. This is little, so usually I write quite a bit more, as you can see. And then things to improve. So you can see I was not doing my habits so much. I wanted to improve that, more focus. And then I write down my to-do list for the following week. I find this is very helpful to do every single Sunday, so I made room for that. And then what I like about this is it takes up the 4 pages. So every time my week starts here, good morning, good night, weekly review, and then I do this over and over. So that's the end of February. And then here we get back into my training. So I am following that same training program for 2 more weeks, and that's why it's just like this. And then I set up a new one because I'm going to be creating a new training program. I'm just doing it on my own, and so I haven't planned it out yet, but that's going to go here, and it's going to look something like this. And then that'll take 1 page or 2 full pages. So then I have a section for book notes for the month of February, and that will continue. So I don't have anything after that, except I do also work from the back. So on the back there is a little pocket. This is where I keep my little stencils and my little ruler. So here I was just planning some money stuff per usual. I like to write everything down. Didn't write anything here, but then I just go work backwards. What I was doing last year is I flipped the notebook over and worked backwards that way, but this time I'm just leaving it and working backwards in the notebook. I don't mind. So if I ever have a blog post that I need to outline, I like to write it down. I like to outline it in here and then just keep on going. And then I created some ideas for Instagram, some real ideas, and that's just gonna be like, I'll keep going with that. If I have to write any outlines, that is where I will do it, because I want to make sure I use up the notebook as well. So as you can see, it's pretty similar to what I did last year. I really love it. I really appreciate this little thing. I love having it with me most of my days. I found that when I did this last year, there were quite a few things I added in that just were not, they were motivating at the time of me creating them, but not something that I wanted to keep up with, or it just didn't fit into my life. So I took those out. You can go back and look at that video and see the difference, but I am happy with this, and as of now, it's what I'm going with. That's everything for my bullet journal for 2021. As of right now, I'm planning to keep things pretty similar to this for the rest of the year. If anything changes, I will probably update in a separate video, or at least in my vlogs. So just be sure to subscribe if you want to see any of that. And also comment down below if you have any questions. Be sure to check the description box for those links to all the products that I use. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.